Famcast Media, bitch.
You know, I feel sorry for all the Dutch volleyball players, because this guy is really about to bring the whole ship down. Good afternoon, demons and demonesses. Kwame Wakan here, and today we got a story that was sent to me on TikTok. This was sent by at least like 9 or 10 different people, so I definitely had to reach out and do something on this, because I was a little shocked about this as well. I didn't even think, like, this could even happen. And, you know, with all the controversy that's been going on with the Olympics, both recently this year and, you know, the last Olympics we had, I've got to say something about this, because this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So the story that I'm about to read to you guys is about a Dutch volleyball player named Steven van de Velde. I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but either way, I don't care, because this guy has absolutely no respect for me. And what he did, well, let's just say if I hate him, now you're going to have a reason to hate him too. Crowd loudly boos convicted child rapist Steven van de Velde at the 2024 Olympics. Not only have the 2024 Olympic Games allowed convicted child rapist Steven van de Velde to compete, but the games are now giving him special treatment and allowing him to avoid contact with the media and fellow athletes. Outrage arose when the Dutch Olympic Committee selected sex offender Van de Velde to represent the Netherlands in the Paris Olympics men's beach volleyball competition. In 2024, when Van de Velde was 19, he began corresponding with a 12-year-old girl on Facebook, continuing their communication even when he learned her age. He eventually traveled from the Netherlands to England to meet her and raped her. He pleaded guilty to 3 counts of child rape and was sentenced to 4 years in prison, but only served 1 year. Almost immediately after his release, the Dutch Volleyball Association permitted him to resume his volleyball career without consequences and has adamantly supported his selection to the Olympics. Multiple athlete advocacy groups penned an open letter asking the Olympics to disqualify Van de Velde immediately, while a petition calling for his removal gained over 120,000 signatures. The letter and petition pointed out how he has shown no remorse for his actions and will not even admit that he committed a crime, describing what he did as merely a small mistake he made when he was a teenager still trying to figure things out. However, the Olympics failed to disqualify him. Now, not only is a convicted child rapist competing in the Paris Olympics, but he's also getting special treatment. Reports have arisen that the Olympics are going out of their way to accommodate Van de Velde and ensuring he's separated from the media and fellow athletes. On one hand, if he's going to be allowed to be there at all, he should be separated from the other athletes for their protection, considering there are minor athletes participating in the Olympics. But what's strange is that the Dutch are taking these measures to protect him. Viewers notice that Van de Velde has been excused from doing interviews or participating in any media, even though this is an obligation for the majority of Olympic athletes. According to The Sun, Dutch aide John van Vliet said that they were protecting him so he could do his sport as best as possible. However, it's not just the Dutch. The International Olympic Committee permitted the Netherlands to accommodate Van de Velde and create an environment which is best for them and their performance. He was even provided with 3 bodyguards to escort him around the games for protection, while most of the athletes are staying in the terrible living conditions of the Olympic Village because it's the most affordable option. Van Vliet confirmed that they had secured special sleeping quarters outside the village for Van de Velde. The volleyball player even goes through separate entrances and exits, as his team members to avoid the mix zone, where the press is stationed. However, the IOC defended this decision, claiming that while teams are required to go through the mix zone and participate in media, not every individual team member has to do so. It doesn't matter how the IOC and Dutch try to spin it though, they are shielding Velde from the media to avoid him receiving even an ounce of scrutiny or discomfort for the serious crimes he has committed. The special treatment Velde is getting even goes beyond Olympic officials. His teammate Matthew Immers has gushed over how Velde is now a good person and expressed confusion over why there is so much attention on his horrific crime. Meanwhile, although Velde received a smattering of boos during his first match at the Olympics, the boos were quickly drowned out by cheers as his home country celebrated him. Not only has the Olympics declared that a convicted child rapist can be celebrated as an Olympian, but that the games will actually go out of their way to protect sex offenders. Again, the only people who need protection are the women and minor athletes forced to compete with a sex offender. For their protection, he should have been banned from the Olympic Village and left to find accommodations on his own instead of having the Dutch make special arrangements for him. He should always have a chaperone supervising him, not 3 bodyguards protecting him. It's well known that a trade-off of all athletes accepting the privilege of going to the Olympics is dealing with the scrutiny and pressure from the media, making it unclear why Velde is being given all the privileges and none of the drawbacks. Alright, so I have a lot to say about the Olympic Committee, and this might upset a lot of people, but I'm going to say it anyway. This makes absolutely 0 sense whatsoever. Alright, now explain this to me. Just a couple of years ago, Sha'Carri Richardson, you know, the runner, she was disqualified for using marijuana edibles. You want to disqualify a person for using marijuana, but you're going to allow a guy that took advantage of a 12-year-old girl and say, oh, well, that's okay, we can't disqualify. Are you bloody serious? So, doing something disgusting to a child is perfectly okay according to the IOC. But smoking weed, oh, that's terrible. How dare you smoke pot? I don't care if you're dealing with anxiety or pain or if you just lost a family member. That's unforgivable. But, you know, this guy that likes to mess around and meet children on the fucking internet, this online predator, well, technically not an online predator, he actually is a predator because he actually was convicted. This guy was convicted. And you guys are letting him compete in the Olympics, and now you're not even allowing him to speak to the media, and the media has every right to question him and grill him for exactly what he's fucking doing. This is disgusting. And what about the other athletes? The fact they have to compete with him? What about the athletes from all these other countries? What if he decides to make a move on any of them? And then they're going to say, oh, well, this is just a small mistake. This is no fucking mistake. He was grown enough. He was an adult. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. But yet, for some reason, they can't get this past their bloody fucking heads. Or like, what is wrong with you? Are you all crackpots? Are you all bloody mad? How does this happen? I mean, that's the thing. They always want to get mad at everything else. They want to get mad at Sha'Carri Richardson for smoking weed. They want to get mad at the fucking drag queens for dressing up as Greek gods. But you actually have a convicted groomer. And they're like, oh, well, nothing to say here. But the fact that, you know, some of his, not all of them, but some of his teammates are defending his actions, they need to be investigated too. Like, there's no defending of this. There's absolutely no defending of this. This wasn't a simple mistake. This wasn't like, oh, well, he was on drugs. He literally got on an airplane, flew to a completely different country, and did some shit like this. And even worse, and I blame both the UK criminal justice system and the Netherlands criminal justice system. How the hell do you give a guy like this 4 fucking years and then he only serves 1? And then he's not going to learn his lesson that way. You know, the guy's a goof. The guy's a nonce. He doesn't deserve anything that a slap on the wrist like that. First a slap on the wrist from the government, then another slap on the wrist from the IOC. Ridiculous. This guy should not have a career in volleyball. This guy honestly shouldn't even be allowed to pick up garbage. I don't think this guy should have any second chances at anything in life. Because he hasn't learned his lesson. And you know what? These sick fucks, I honestly don't believe there's a cure for these people. I honestly don't. The best way we can deal with these people is lock them up in prison and never letting them out. Never. Absolutely. And I think the law should be changed. I don't care if it's the UK, the Netherlands, France, the United States, Canada. If you do something like this, you deserve to be locked up in prison for life. No chance or possibility of parole. Done. If that child has to suffer for the rest of their life, then why the hell should this guy get a second chance? Does the child get a second chance? Will the child ever recover from all the stuff that happened to them? Absolutely not. It doesn't matter how much, treatment they get, how many counselors or doctors they're going to speak to, that trauma will always be there. So why shouldn't that same trauma be applied to the guy who did it? I will say I have to give the crowd, much respect for booing this sucker. I mean, some people will see it as, unpatriotic to boo your own country, but when the person that's supposed to represent your country is a monster, then to be honest, I think it's completely justified. And anybody, regardless of what country you're from, is going to view that as epic patriotism. The fact that you're saying, hey, this guy doesn't represent us, this guy shouldn't represent our country, we're gonna boo the shit out of him. You know what? I'm on the side of the people that boo. Good for them. They have at least they have common sense. At least they know what this guy's fate should be. I will say this better be the last time he participates in any athletic event. And I hope the people of the Netherlands hold this guy accountable for the rest of his fucking life. There's no escape from this. People aren't going to forget what he's done. I don't think there's a chance that people will ever forget about this. No matter how much these rich people want to, pour money into it for bodyguards, special hotels and stuff like that. I'll say this. These people can't hide forever. 2024, we've exposed a lot of them. Cat Williams said it the best. 2024, this is the year where people are definitely going to get exposed. And so far, we're seeing it. Alright, you guys, that's pretty much all I got to say. You guys stay safe, stay Metal Hill Satan. I'll catch you guys later. Alright, so here's a little bit of an update. We got some good news. The Dutch volleyball team has just recently been eliminated from the Olympics. They played against Brazil, and Brazil ended up kicking their asses. So, to Velde, enjoy the rest of your miserable fucking life. You're going home without a medal. And one more word of advice, stay away from our kids, you fucking goof.